What's up, Royals? Welcome back to Tonitra's Garden. I'm Tonitra and you are in my garden right now. In today's video, we are going to be potting up a store-bought rose bush. I thought this would be a great video to cover because what do you do with roses that you buy from the big box container store and get them home and you're like, well, how do I pot it up? So this video is for you. I bought this beautiful rose bush from Walmart. Look at those. And I'm going to show you how to pot up your own rose bush and have beautiful blooms all summer long. So stay tuned. So what you're going to need to pot up your rose bush is a nice large planter. You want it to be a good size bigger than the size of the pot that it's already in so that it has space to grow. You're going to need some bone meal and fertilizer, and lastly, some potting mix. Okay? We're gonna make this super easy, beginner friendly. So I have my container here. I did put some rocks at the bottom of this container because rose bushes don't like wet feet. So they don't like to be sitting in water. They like well-draining soil. So I put some rocks at the bottom of this. You do not have to put rocks at the bottom of your container if you don't want to. It is totally optional, but I did, so we'll see how it works. I've already put some soil into the container and we're going to go ahead and put some of this bone meal into our container. This bone meal is going to help your rose bush establish its roots and get going pretty well. So we're just going to do about a nice good heaping scoop of that. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and put some fertilizer in there, granule fertilizer, so that in a couple months, your roses will have some nutrients in the soil to feed off of. And we're gonna mix this up with our shovel. So this is what our pot is looking like. We've got our soil in there. We put our bone meal for root production and we put our fertilizer so that your roses have something to feed off of in a few months. Okay. So we have our rose bush and we are going to carefully release our rose bush from the pot. So we're just gonna go underneath and be very careful because roses have thorns and they are very prickly. So I'm just gonna pick it up, place my hand around the bottom stem. This might make a mess, but that's okay. And just kind of wiggle it out of the container. And it should pop out like so. And this baby is ready to get out of this pot. I'm gonna slide this over and pop it straight into the new container. All right. And you can just wiggle it in, get it nice and snug. And we're gonna go ahead and backfill around the plant and make sure that it's level to the soil that it originally was potted at. So we're just gonna fill it up to the soil level. We're not gonna go above that. And I'm just filling this in with some potting mix. Okay. Make sure your plant is nice and straight. just go ahead and even out the soil, pack it in. Make sure it is in there. So I always keep my plant labels so that I know how to care for my plants. So this one needs about 6 hours of sun daily. It gets on average 3 to 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. It's cold hardiness up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And so yeah, I'm just gonna stick this in the plant. And if I'm ever unsure of anything, I'll just look at the label. So I'm gonna go ahead and water this plant in. I'm just gonna give it a deep water. So that all this soil can absorb the water. So it says water your rose bush every 3 to 5 days, but that's depending on the temperature and climate. So water it whenever you feel like it's necessary. Maybe water it more in the summer. Give it more shade in the summer. And my drainage is working well. It's already draining from the bottom, so that's great. So depending on what the rose is doing, I'll probably fertilize this rose every 2 weeks, maybe every week, depending on what the circumstances are. So this is my beautifully potted rose. And potting a store-bought rose is as simple as that. It is not hard to do. I will do a updated video on how to care for your roses in probably a couple months or so. So look out for that video. If this video was helpful, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, Royals.